here we go. So let's start. Again, we're going to be talking about user forms, data entry, and it should be a little bit exciting. If you want this file at the very end, you could email me, post, or leave a comment and tell me. And here's my email, msgbox@gmail, and I'll forward you the file. So what we want to do here, we want to start entering our, in this case, this is a small example, name, state, and age. Instead of going all the way here and keep on adding name here, I want to do it via a user form. It's a lot more cleaner, a lot easier for people to kind of not mess around with the data, and so it'll be pretty kind of like a little program user data entry. So let's go ahead and do that. Before we do that, we're not going to include it here, so we're going to create a new sheet here, call it database. Let's see how far we get on this video. It might be a few parts of this video, but we'll see. So we'll say name, state, and age for now. All right, so this will be where we will start entering information. Hello and welcome all of you who are joining us. My name is McDeal. We're doing Excel VBA tutorials. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment or tweet at us, McDeal VBA, or post it on Facebook. All right, so let's go over here now to our VBA editor side, and let's make this a little bit bigger so you guys could kind of see what's happening. Let's take a look. All right, so you should be able to see that. All right, so here we're going to insert a user form. Insert user form. In our user form, we have these control our tools where we're going to manipulate this user form. So we'll make it a little bit long and big up to there, and we'll start adding. We'll name this UF main. And then our caption, where's my caption? Right here. Enter data. Let's see if we can do this. All right, enter data. And then we'll enter combo boxes here. So we'll drag display here for our name. Let's expand that a little bit more. And then we'll enter another one. A little smaller for the state, right? And then we'll enter a text box for the age. I don't think we'll need a combo box yet for the age. All right, so those are our three. And then every time we enter these, want to make sure that we start labeling them immediately so that we are not lost whenever we're referencing to them. So this is a CB name. And then this is CB state. And this one is text box TB age. Okay. And we're going to enter a label here so that we know what are we talking about here. And this is name. Right. And we'll do the same thing for the others, but we won't do it here. We're doing it in our next video, so save some time, but it'll be the same thing. Copy it over here. This one we will not label them yet. I don't think it's necessary at this point. All right, so we have that. Then we want to enter our list box. Here is a list box. It says list box there. This is where we'll be displaying the information, similar to what we have on our database sheet. And here we're going to say list, LST data. list data and our column count. There's only 3 columns so far, but if you start expanding them, go ahead if you want to add. And we're going to have column heads. We're going to set it to true just because we're going to have the name, title of the date and age as our header, and I'll explain to you guys later when we fill that information in. We're almost set here with our user form for now, and let's enter a command button here. We'll enter a command button here to enter our data. We'll rename this btn, enter, and here we say enter, enter data, and so far so good. Now let's go back to our screen here. Got this little music playing in the background. Let's go back to our screen here where we have Excel. This is our database. We want to trigger this user form, so we want to insert a button here on our main page. For now, I'll keep it here, but we want to insert a button here so that we could activate the user form, so we don't have to like go through the VBA. So let's enter a little button here. We could change it, make a little, where are those colorful ones? Okay, let's insert that and use user form. We'll expand that and oops, center it. Well, that doesn't work. All right, that's fine. So we'll keep it there. All right, so far so good. Let's save this information, this so far whatever we have, and now let's insert a module so that we could call this form. We'll go here, insert a module. This is all like just preparation, except for like the user form, designing the user form. We're going to say UF show UF main dot show and enter false, because we still want to edit things in our VBA. And let's rename this to UF macro, so if we want to add more stuff. So far so good. So now if we assign here, assign macro, and say this is going to be UF show, this will bring up our list box. And it's looking a little bit weird, but for now we could type things here, we could type things here and here, and then hit enter. Nothing's going to happen now because there's no coding. Okay, so let's go back and start with the fun part, which is the coding. All right, so now let's switch back to our VBA, because this is where we're going to get into the coding side of things. And we go back to a user form. We're going to go into our enter data button. Once we click here, now we have where our code is going to reside. We're going to dim a few two variables. One is last row as LR as integer, and dim consistent RNG as range as a range. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If I'm going too fast, I'm trying to save time, and this will be a few parts series, so stay tuned, and I should bring it back. I should probably maybe finish it off tomorrow. So again, go ahead, like, share, and spread the word. All right, here we go. So there we go. We have our range and our last row, and now we want to find our last row, right? So one last thing that I need to do is this database. I'm going to rename this database sheet 1 into DB, so make it easier for me to code it. And now if I say with no, let's just say last row, find last LR, find last row. All right, so if db.range you know what, I like to include my with db so that I don't have to type that every time, and with. So now I can say if dot range a2, so if range a2 equals blank, then lr equals 2, else, and if. So if I don't have any data on my, if I don't have any data here, it's the first time that I fill in information, then my last row is going to be equals 2. Otherwise, my last row is going to equal, and this is a code that you may want to memorize. Eventually, there's 2 versions. This is one of them using cells. Then my last row is going to equals dot cells, and this is where it gets cells, rows dot count. This is a dynamic way of finding your last row. And then you use a reference column, and this column is going to be column A. And Excel up dot row. So this is going to get us a dynamic last row here as an integer. So it's going to be based on column A, and this is, I write it this way so you know specifically, but this should be 1. You could use both ways. I tend to sometimes highlight A so that people know, especially if I have like a number 20, whatever that is, P, whatever it is, sometimes I want to let them know by the letter. But basically this is saying whatever is my rows count, which is like 1,000,000 all the way down, right? Control down. Oops, mine here. Control down, and then it's gonna just go Control Excel up. Wherever I have my data, it's here. Control down, Control up. That's my row 6, right? So wherever I have some data will be my last row. That is really good to memorize. All right, so that's for finding last row. Now that we have our last row, what else do we need? All right, so now we enter data. Now we enter our data. So enter data, enter new data. All right, so now same concept. If we'll just type it again, if dot range a2 equals a blank, then else, and if. Right, so now if our range equals a2, then we want to fill the name, age, state, and age on row 2. So then, and then in this case, I'll use cells 2 because I'm going to be repeating it. Equals me for remember we're do I have to no. We're in our main user form coding, so me will be knowing that it's this user form me dot, and if you type dot, and then TB, you start getting all, or CB, sorry. You start getting like everything that we just created. CB name, CB state, so CB name. So cell1 here is going to equal whatever I type in my combo box name. And then I'll copy this. Okay, so this is going to change 2, and then this is going to change 3, and this is going to change to CB state, and then this is going to be CB age. And then we're going to copy this again, control copy here, because this one is going to do, otherwise the second time after A2 is filled in the first time, now we want to insert a row here. So we want to say, and I'll show you why, just a second. I'm going to say entire row dot insert. No, we don't need that space. All right, let's save our data there. All right, are you guys following at this moment? Hopefully I'm not losing anybody. I'm not sure who's out there. I see like 3 people, but I might be including myself. And it is including myself. And that's okay. Let's take a look. Let's continue on so that we don't have to have spaces in this video. But so, all right, so now let's try it out and hit Userform, say Mike, New York 12, hit enter. All right, I'm gonna hit enter, and if I go here, I've entered it twice, so I've not noticing that things are happening because nothing else is happening. So let's go back here, let's delete this. It's clear contents. What we want to do also at the very end is we want to take these statements and blank them out. Equals blank me.tb state equals blank and me.tb age equals blank. Right, so now if I enter this data, now everything is blank, and me.tb name dot set focus. So we want to have our cursor back on Shell, New Jersey, and 32. And if we hit enter, now we want our cursor back here, so we know, so we could continue entering data. And sometimes something is happening where, okay, I have to hit tab. All right, so far so good. So you see what's happening. This is why we wanted to insert a row, so that now our data, most recent data, shows at the top. Because when we're displaying it here on a list box, eventually things will start scrolling out of the view, and we want to, like, I guess, verify the last entry that we actually enter. That is the reason why I do this. Otherwise, my last name will be all the way in the bottom. I will never see it adding here. Okay, that's the reason why I do that. So let's save this, and I believe this might be, we're pretty much at a good point here, prepared to stop. Let me take a look. So I'm adding, let's actually fill the list box so that we kind of see a lot more what's happening. All right, so now we're gonna have to reset focus. Now we fill in Listbox with data. All right, so filling our Listbox. So we're going to use our range here. Range equals, now we're going to say dot range is going to be A2 to C and LR plus 1. We need to, this is something that I already noticed. So now me dot list data dot row source. This is how we fill in our row source. Row source means the data is going to be filled in on our VBA. Am I in VBA? Let's go here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so this is the coding that we're just doing. This is how we're gonna fill the row source, and that's going to be saying equals and dot name and exclamation and range dot address. We save that, go back here, let's close this out, go back to our main, and yes. Okay, so click user form, let's type in, and let's go back to our database here so that we can see what's happening. Nick from Texas, age 22, hit end tab. I need to enter tab twice. I think it's because I did my Listbox first, so might have to fix that. And now we see, once we hit enter, now we see that all our information has applied. So we have Nick, Texas, and 22. I don't like the fact that I have to hit it twice. It really, Tim, Thomas, and then 24. And I have to enter twice because it goes to my list tab first. So I wanted it to be opposite. So sometimes it's just a little weird. I believe I could change, if I'm not mistaken, I think I could change the order. Right here, tab index, I think. Tab index 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to say, we want this to be 4. Tab index 5, so we want this to be 4. And then this one will be automatically 5. So that will fix it. And something I, wow, remember after all these years. I did this about 7 years ago, probably. And I think I saw a video somewhere, somebody on YouTube. So now if I do it again and say Tony from AL 27 and hit tab, now I go to enter and I hit enter, and now my information is there. Okay, so that is all we're going to do now. I hope you guys find this useful. We will still continue this video on another time, probably tomorrow. And what we want to do next is, right now when we close out and we click user form, our user form is gone, right? So this is going to be hidden. These tabs could be hidden. They wouldn't matter. Let's save this. So, and then let's say, for example, I don't have this data here, which is not the accurate data. But I do have my user form. If I click user form, I mean, you're gonna feel like you don't have no data. We want to populate this, so we'll do that next time. Populate this information here, and then we'll do a few other things with this, and then we'll want to add like our names here so that we can actually select names after we have entered them, and kind of do like searching, so we could edit information. And this will probably work best if you have more columns like telephone, emails, and other information for your clients, and you want to like have a few fields that you may want to search. So you will enter a search mode. We could add a search mode button here, and then a few fields will get disabled and so forth. So stay tuned for more on Userforms and VBA. So I hope you enjoy this. Like and subscribe. Thank you, and see you soon.